Deciding to do a show that is like based in hell was a weird, wild thing to do. Walking around looking like this all the time is weird and wild, and telling us a story about how when he was 13 he got liposuction on his chest because that was easier than getting a workout program and his parents endorsing that is just another story he gets to tell where he relishes in your shock and amazement that anything like that ever happened to him. Other people in the news this week was Sam Smith. When is he not in the news? This guy's whole personality is how weird can he be. I don't like people whose biggest claim to fame is how weird they can be. But he came out and he was talking about how when he was 13, he got liposuction on his chest because as he was getting older and he was on the chubbier side as a kid, he began to develop breasts even though he was a boy. And so he wanted to get liposuction and his parents were super supportive of that. He said he was getting like bullied and stuff and he didn't like to go to the pool and stuff because he was embarrassed. So they were like, yes, absolutely, get liposuction.
Because I had like a growing chest.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And there was, all sorts of reasons why, but mainly I was just getting so teased. I couldn't like go swimming in school and I couldn't like getting changed in the locker room was hell. So I got liposuction when I was 13 years old.
What was it like convincing your parents?
They were supportive. They were hugely supportive of the whole thing because they just saw how much it was crippling everything about me.
On a 13-year-old? No wonder Sam's so crazy now. Where were his parents? What were they thinking? I mean, I understand being embarrassed and ashamed. I was a chubby kid too. My whole life has been one embarrassing episode after another. But I always knew, and my parents would have confirmed to me if I had asked them, that the real situation is not that I needed plastic surgery at the age of 13. Get up off the couch. Like, go do some exercise, work out. Like, his parents didn't even seem to think that they needed to implement maybe a different home regimen or, like, let's all work out together as a family. It was just immediately like, oh, Sam wants plastic surgery. Yes, son, absolutely, we'll get it for you. What kind of parenting is that? Okay. In the comments, if you had a child who was struggling with their weight and there was real shame around it because people are mean and bullying and you also were concerned that you didn't want your child to go through life where they were struggling with their weight and learning bad habits early that were just going to continue to fester, would you at the age of 13 be like, let's just solve this problem quickly and we'll figure out later like a more sustainable way for you to keep the weight off? Or would you say, let's start working out together? I feel like I know what you're all going to say because you're sane people. That's why you're here. But liposuction on a 13-year-old, what is that teaching them? Like, one, that everybody's disdain of them is valid, so they should quickly change themselves to justify themselves in everybody's eyes. That's the obvious first lesson. But then what about the lesson of just working on self-restraint? It is hard. Believe me, I know. But I just don't see, like, what the problem is here. And he doesn't, in the retelling of it, he seems to think that it's like just this fun fact about him. And I'm just like, was this the beginning of the end for you, Sam? When your parents just let you call the shots and then you just did it and nobody gave you any pushback and nobody tried to counsel you towards a different way? I was talking to my sister the other day and Cassie was saying that she feels like part of the reason that there's such anxiety in this younger generation is that they are always calling the shots and the parents are always acquiescing to whatever crazy that they want to do. And a lot of anxiety produced when it's like, am I in charge of all this? So my life is actually in my hands? I don't know how many kids actually want that to be their reality. I think most kids want to feel like they don't have the final say because they don't feel prepared to have the final say. How anxiety inducing. But Sam Smith has made his entire career based on saying things that shock you. And he comes from a long line in the pop music industry of people who have made their name not necessarily on their talent, but on how much they can shock you. And this has been a problem that has plagued us since the 80s. It's just something that is now part of the music industry. It doesn't matter so much your talent. It matters, can I get your eyes on me? And we as a society are over there throwing flowers at the people who do manage to get our attention, and then we seem to ask very little of them beyond that. We seem to think that them getting our attention is worthy of us rewarding them with fame and fortune. And I feel like this is exactly why the Kardashians are famous. We're all over here acting like because they managed to get our attention, that validates what it is they have to offer. But upon getting our attention, they never have anything else to give. And Sam Smith, I feel like, is a person who has become enormously well known based solely on the fact that he's just a general oddball. Deciding to do a show that is like based in hell was a weird, wild thing to do. Walking around looking like this all the time is weird and wild, and telling us a story about how when he was 13, he got liposuction on his chest because that was easier than getting a workout program and his parents endorsing that is just another story he gets to tell where he relishes in your shock and amazement that anything like that ever happened to him. And I think that what sickens me about the world of entertainment right now is just like we were talking about earlier with Meghan and with Kim Kardashian, these are shows that are relying entirely on the fact that there will be bits from the whole production that will go viral, and that's how they'll make their money. And we are now a society that doesn't really care about a completed, beautiful product. Now we just care, can I grab 30 seconds here, 60 seconds there to make a reel, to get your attention, to get you to watch it, to go viral? And it's wild that we would even bother to make these huge productions, these huge performances, get other people to buy into it and use their talent for something that ultimately will end up being a couple of 3-minute clips at most to get viral and to get people's attention. And that nobody's going to invest their time in the whole All's Fair show. And nobody's going to invest all their time in the entire movie that Meghan Markle's in. It's just about getting a few moments that you'll pay attention to. And I'm tired of living in a society that rewards mediocrity simply because you got me to glance over at it. And I'm tired of all of us asking so very little of our performers. You know, Cynthia Erivo is another person like that, where she has enormous talent, but the conversation that's generated around her has continued mostly because she is an oddball. She's always doing things that are supposed to make you shocked, but then you're not supposed to actually be shocked. And she just has this like general sense of, you have to accept my talent while also endorsing my queerness and my lifestyle. And I'm tired of all of these celebrities coming out, wilding out, being rather strange, and then saying that if you enjoy my talent, you must also enjoy who I am as a person. And gone are the days where we could just say, oh, this person has enormous talent. It always also then has to be a conversation about their lifestyle, who they are as a person, all the things they endorse, and that by enjoying their talent, they also need you to endorse who they are as people. And they feel like the conversation needs to be much more broadly about them and their self-expression and less about the talent. And when we live in a world where the Kim Kardashians are being elevated to the same people who have actual talent, then Cynthia Erivo coming out looking like a Christmas ham and needing you to endorse her wild sense of style as well as her voice, it's all just getting mixed up in this strange world where talent or no talent, weirdness rules the day. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of mediocrity overselling talent. And I'm tired of talent being buried in weirdness. Can't we just have good things that are good on their own merits without also having to be laced with insanity?